Futurecom 2022, direto do pavilhão do Canadá, em uma entrevista com o embaixador do Canadá, que vai ser em inglês, e na qual ele vai contar a importância de ter um stand na Futurecom, trazendo empresas do Canadá para negociar com os brasileiros. Emmanuel, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Listen, it's a pleasure. It's wonderful to be here at Futurecom in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, and we have some fantastic companies here with us, so we're very happy to be here today and this whole week doing business with Brazil.
So, to start, what's the importance from Canada to bring companies from there at Futurecom? What's the strategy?
You know, I think there's three things. One, I think Brazil is a very important market. It's a very important economy for us. It brings a lot of opportunity for growth and for collaboration for bilateral trade. At the same time, there's also some fantastic opportunities here, some technology, some great research taking place, and a really innovative economy and a really innovative environment for companies to come and do business. And then the third piece I'd say is that there's a lot of activity with investment and bilateral trade, and we want to continue to grow the relationship in this space, in telecoms and information and communication technologies, but also in other areas, because many of these technologies today and these companies today also have application in other areas. So we see a lot of potential to grow the business environment between Canada and Brazil using Futurecom and using this delegation as a basis and as a foundation.
And what kind of negotiation Canada and Brazilian governments have regarding to telecommunications?
So we have an ongoing dialogue as partners in the hemisphere. We're significant commercial partners with a lot of bilateral trade and investment. But we also have discussions that take place in other multilateral forums. We're members of the International Telecommunications Union, we're members of the WTO, we have a very strong bilateral relationship. So we have always ongoing discussions about making sure that our regulatory environment works well together, that our companies are able to effectively do business in each other's countries. And we believe that telecommunications, ICT in general, is really at the front edge of emerging technologies, the future of what we are going to be living in our future economies and our future societies, and the importance of things like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, all these areas, which I know are not directly part of the Futurecom mandate, but ICT and telecommunications are foundational aspects of that. So all these are discussions that we have with the Brazilian government, of course at the federal level, but also with the associations here, business associations, state governments. So it's a very rich bilateral relationship in that area.
And I assume this is not the first time Canada take place at Futurecom. What keeps bringing you here?
It's a great question. We've been here 14 times. So we've been here basically from the very beginning. And it's wonderful to be back here now after the pandemic. I know the pandemic is not over, of course, and there's still risk, but to see people coming back together, having face-to-face meetings, it's very different to have the ability to see somebody in 3 dimensions and not only on a Zoom screen or an MS Teams call. So for us, it's been wonderful to be able to come back travel into Sao Paulo, travel into the country, and have a chance to meet people person to person, because that interaction between people, body language, eye contact, it's very important. During the pandemic, it was great to have webinars and communication using this wonderful technology we have here as well. But now I think we can come back to in-person meetings and continue with a hybrid approach. And I think Futurecom offers the business community in Brazil and in Canada the chance to look at how do we adapt and have new solutions for telecommunications with this new environment that we live in, the post-pandemic environment.
And you mentioned something really interesting. The pandemic just boosted the digital transformation around the world. And it affects directly the ICT and telecommunications companies, such as the one that you brought here. What can we expect for the future? Well, there is any plan for, 3 to 5 years from now?
It's a great question, and many of the companies that are here from Canada, of course, bring solutions that do 2 key things. One is recognize how important telecommunications really is to our life in today's world. We saw during the pandemic that we needed these solutions, we needed these companies to be able to provide us with ways for us to communicate, to continue to work together, and to keep relationships with our families and our friends even, very fundamental things in our society. And then the second thing that I think a lot of these solutions bring from our Canadian companies is we're now evolving into a different way of working, into a different way of, it's called hybrid work. I think it's a shorthand way. But what it effectively means is we need to find different solutions now for how we can continue to collaborate, both from a business perspective, but also within our societies. How do we connect with our families in an easier way? How do we connect with our communities in our civil society? How do we continue to keep government services and business services working smoothly when things are not always perfect? So I think in a way, one of the, let's say, silver linings from this very difficult period of the pandemic is I think there are some very good technology solutions, and I think Canada offers a lot of very good technology solutions to help us be better in our business, in our work, and maybe hopefully in our lives as well, right? Anyway, so we're going to be here next week, and I'm pretty sure, I'm looking at my Senior Trade Commissioner here, and I think we're going to be here next year as well, so the answer is yes, we will be.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Muito obrigado.
De nada. E acompanhe todas as notícias da Futurecom na nossa plataforma digital e não perca nenhum conteúdo do Congresso.